It is 9 minutes past 7. Thousands of children will be heading to the school gates without their lunchboxes this morning because from today all infant children in England will receive a free lunchtime meal.
Well, it's coming at an annual cost of £600 million to the taxpayer, but will save parents about £400 a year per child. Well,
let's speak to the Deputy Prime Minister Nick Clegg, who originally announced the plans last year and joins us now from a school in Clapham in London. Morning to you. Thanks very much for joining us.
Morning.
So it's going to cost the government a large amount of money. Some from the Local Government Association are saying that actually it's also meaning that money is being directed away from important areas. Are you concerned by that?
I don't actually think that's the case in the vast majority of schools. In fact, the teachers and head teachers I meet, the parents that I meet at schools like this are absolutely delighted because they know what every teacher and parent intuitively knows, which is that a healthy meal shared by all children, where you don't have children sort of parcelled off in one part of the school dining area from each other, but everybody eating a healthy meal together at lunchtime helps the whole class do well together in the afternoon. And the places where we piloted this, places like Durham and Newham in London, actually showed that in maths and English, the children who were receiving a healthy hot meal at lunchtime were doing were sort of 2 months in advance of their classmates who were not. So it has a great educational benefit. It saves families money, as you suggested earlier, about £400 per child per year per family, and also, of course, it encourages a commitment to healthy eating, which really helps children later in life. So I think on all counts, it's a really positive thing, and I'm absolutely delighted, and I also want to pay tribute to all the teachers and head teachers up and down the country who are successfully delivering this from day one at the beginning of term.
And as you said, all families, regardless of income, is that the right thing to do, to be saving, I don't know, some very rich families £400 a year?
Well, I think if you look at the children who benefit most, there are about 4 in 10 children in our country at the moment who are officially in poverty but don't receive free school meals. So they're actually the ones that disproportionately benefit. Children in poverty not getting a healthy meal. And, you know, if some of them turn up at school with a plastic lunchbox with a slice of white bread with some chocolate spread on it and a fizzy drink, it's no wonder that those children then fall behind in the classroom in the afternoon because they're not able to concentrate as well. So I think it is important, particularly in those valuable early years at primary school, that all children feel that they're treated the same, that they share the same meal together. I think that fosters a sense of the classroom working together, and all the evidence, as I say, and this has been stress tested and piloted and analysed over a long period of time now, all the evidence shows that has a dramatic effect on educational performance, as well as being good for the health of the children and indeed for the health of the household budget of the families concerned.
We've followed this story since you announced it here on Breakfast. Just tell us about sandwiches, for example. We know, we have spoken to schools where they are only going to be able to give children sandwiches. Is that how you envisaged it?
No, it's not, and all schools will. Look, of course there are a small, and it's a tiny minority of schools. I mean, the Department for Education have got in touch with the 15,000 odd schools concerned, and over 98% of them are providing a healthy hot meal as of this week. But of course, if you want to scour the country and find a very small number of schools who are having some problems, you will do so. Of course, this is a big change. But those schools who maybe need a few extra weeks before they provide a healthy hot meal option at lunchtime are being properly supported. We've put £1 billion forward to actually cover the costs of the food itself, £150 million for kitchen improvements, £22.5 million of special assistance to small schools. We are absolutely confident that all children will benefit across the school system. But yes, of course, there will be some schools who need to make additional adaptations. But we've launched a whole support service for those schools where people visit the schools and make recommendations about how schools can provide this new free school meal, healthy meal at lunchtime, and all the schools on the whole are responding very well indeed.
If we could turn to other matters as well, particularly the threat of Islamic State to the UK, and the Prime Minister has said if there was direct threat to British national security, the British government must reserve the right to act immediately and to inform the House of Commons afterwards. Are you comfortable with that?
Oh, of course. Look, I think it's the first duty of any government to reserve the right to act to keep us safe. And in the case of ISIL, it's quite clear, because we've already backed the United States in the actions they've taken, and of course we've taken the lead in the world in providing humanitarian assistance to the thousands, hundreds of thousands of victims of these barbaric medieval people who are rampaging across northern Iraq and large swathes of Syria. We've made it very clear that we want to do our bit to counter their ideology and the threat they pose in the region, and indeed the threat they pose to Europe and to the United Kingdom. So of course it's right for the Prime Minister to say that we need to keep our options open, because this is a problem which we as a world together will face, in my view, for some time to come.
OK, so you are happy that there could be military action without first referring to MPs?
Look, I believe in a doctrine that where a government takes a deliberate decision to take military action, that needs to be following a debate and a vote in the House of Commons. What the Prime Minister was saying, which is I think something everyone's always accepted, is if there are ever circumstances where a state needs to act, if you like, overnight in order to protect our security, then sometimes it's just not practically feasible to ask for a parliamentary vote beforehand. But I think I think this whole needs to be seen in the context of the diplomatic, humanitarian, legal, and other means which we need to deploy in cooperation with other countries. This is not a problem that Britain is going to fix on its own. America is clearly taking the lead in the region. The countries in the region have to take the lead, supporting the legitimate governments of Iraq and Kurdistan and the Kurdish region within Iraq, for instance, is an absolute cornerstone of our approach. And we need to play our part. We already play our part. We will need to continue to play our part.
And if I could turn to one last question from you, and your sort of point of view actually as a father as well, with regard to the situation of Asher King, who is seriously ill in hospital. His parents have now spent one night in jail in Spain. What are your thoughts?
Well, look, my heart goes out to, as I'm sure every mum or dad has the same response, which is that, as far as I can make out, this is a family in a state of real anguish who have taken this exceptional step of moving their sick child to another country because they think that's what's best for their child. Now, we can debate whether it is or it is not, but that seems to be their motives, and those are not motives that I can argue with. I don't think any parent can argue with, and that's why I personally think that sort of throwing the full force of the law at Mr. and Mrs. King, who appear to be doing what they believe to be best for their own family, I don't think is an appropriate thing to do. But that, at the end of the day, is for the police and the Crown Prosecution Service and others to decide. But that's my personal view, and I do hope for that reason it'll be resolved and the family can be reunited, because this little boy is on his own in a hospital. He doesn't speak Spanish, cut off from his parents and his siblings, and I would like to see him together with his family as soon as possible.
Deputy Prime Minister Nick Clegg, thanks for your time here on Breakfast this morning. Thank you.
It's 80 minutes past 7. You're watching Breakfast.